What's up, everybody? This is Doggie Diamonds. You're now watching Doggie Diamonds TV. This is part of today's rundown. This is via hotnewhiphop.com. And it reads, Too Short explains why he avoided hanging out with Tupac. Too Short's currently gearing up to release his first album in 5 years, Sir Too Short Volume 1 on tomorrow. Hey, I gotta pick that up. Too Short says that he used to avoid hanging out with Tupac because he was worried about being a bad influence on him. He discussed his relationship with the late rapper during an interview on History of the Bay with Drag Ones. Tupac and Shorty B jumped in the truck with me and I noticed that he had a pistol on him, Too Short recalled, as caught by Complex. I was just thinking to myself, I carry guns a lot. I'm from Oakland and I just wouldn't let a Oakland nigga or any other nigga know that I got my thing on me at the time. It's just something you just don't do. So basically he's saying he saw the burner and he was like, hold up, you're supposed to be hiding it. But anyway, once he noticed the gun, Too Short decided it'd be best if he didn't bring Tupac to certain parts of Oakland. I knew what he was going to get into, and I was like, if my guys catch wind of his ambition, they're going to cling to him, he continued. He could find his way anywhere he wants in this world, but I'm not bringing him to where I'm at. I can tell that he wanted the streets. I'm going to come back to that. I personally avoided ambitious Tupac because he probably would have ended up in some effed up spaces around me, he added. You got to be on the right state of mind. He did it, bro. He went to LA and ended up in those circles. He was like, I wanted to be the gangster revolutionary, like everything. I want to be the ladies' man. I want to be the biggest rapper. He had the ambition. I was like, get that away from me. I don't want to be a bad influence on Tupac. That was just my choice. So I find that weird that he didn't want to be a bad influence on Tupac. So he didn't bring him around certain places. And he was like, Tupac wanted the streets. And this is the thing that we don't really take into consideration when we talk about Pac and some of the younger, the guys who lost their life in the culture. Many of them were very, very young. Tupac was young. And although he wasn't a teenager, he was still, I don't know how y'all think, man. Because I know sometimes when dudes be over one, they be like, yo, you're not a kid. And you know, a kid sometimes has nothing to do with age. It's the mentality. And as wise as Tupac was, you know, he was ambitious. He had Ambitious of a Rider. You know, he had songs about being ambitious. And he was a revolutionary. And he was a ladies' man. And, you know, being gangster was just something that, unfortunately, you kind of had to be. So I feel like Too Short was trying to save him from Oakland and getting caught up in the Oakland stuff, but he ended up going to LA getting caught up in the stuff anyway. But I want to know, in y'all opinion, was it inevitable? Was it avoidable? Because think about the times that we're talking about. We're talking about at like the hardcore hip hop, gangster rap is booming at this time. It's the big sale. It's the Chronic. It's so much going on the East Coast. Gangster rap, you know, from NWA, but after that it got really, really monetized. So would Tupac be the Tupac that we knew and loved if he didn't go that route? You know, because I think sometimes people just be like, yo, he didn't have to do this, he didn't have to do that. What was his options? You know, and then you have some people who say, he wasn't no gangster, he wasn't this, he wasn't that. You know, trying to discredit him. What was his options? I'm just talking about at that time of hip hop. We had conscious hip hop. He came out. Now I clown around when to hang around. Hold up, maybe I could do it on a beat. Now I clown around when to hang around with the underground. Girls used to frown, say I'm down when I come around. Alright, yeah, ha ha ha. Bust out that Tupac for y'all. He came out like that, you know, and that was fire. He did Brenda's Got a Baby. He did Trapped. He was doing conscious song. He was doing all of that. But I don't think he would have been the Tupac that everybody knew and loved if he didn't go that route. So I get what Short is saying. Shout out to Too Short too. Too Short, you know, being from the Bay is crazy because I actually like Too Short, a lot of Too Short records. And when I first saw Too Short, that's when he had the messed up teeth. And I remember he was like, they want me to kick a freestyle. I don't even know how to do them shits. Though that always had me rolling. But one of my favorite songs from Too Short was I'm a Player. That was one of my favorite songs because being from Brooklyn, I didn't understand the whole, you know, the pimping is different on the East Coast. So it was like dudes is calling themselves players and all that. I was like, fuck is a player? You know, so I never knew what that culture was like on that side. So shout out to Tupac and shout out to all of them for bringing us that Oakland, because I didn't know nothing about that. And if it wasn't for Too Short, I probably wouldn't have known anything about that because he was the first rapper. But it's funny that he didn't really get played on MTV as much as he did get played on BET. So shout out to Too Short. Shout out to him too for being in the culture for as long as he has, you know, and did a lot of legendary stuff. But back to Tupac, it must be weird for Too Short to say, I tried to save him from Oakland and being with my Oakland dudes and getting jammed up. And then he ended up going to LA and clicking up with Sugar and them and getting jammed up. You know what I always wanted to know, and this question was never really answered. Maybe it was. If y'all heard the answer, point it out to me. Why didn't Tupac stay with Shock G? Why did he? I mean, he's a soloist, of course he's gonna be a soloist, but why didn't he stay in that whole DU thing that Shock G was doing? Because I think Shock G musically was a genius. I Get Around is a classic record produced by Shock G, so it wasn't like Shock G couldn't produce him. Why didn't he stay in that realm? Like, what was it about, you know, because remember, we got Thug Life, we got all this stuff, so he was automatically, you know, hardcore gangster was the thing, you know. But why didn't he stay with Shock G? If anybody has any Money B interviews, could you DM to me? Because I don't think Money B Money B might be like the only one that can answer that right now, because Pac is gone, so is Shock G. Damn. Why didn't, maybe I'll reach out to Money B and try to get an interview. Why didn't Pac stay with them? Although it was a time where they stopped doing music too. But why didn't Tupac stay with that? I mean, of course he couldn't stay there doing the damn Humpty and all that. But why didn't he stay with that? Why did he go the other way? Was it the pressure of where the culture was going? Maybe Shock G wasn't gangster enough as far as the perception. I don't know. But let me know what y'all think, man. I'm Doggie Diamonds. Until next time, peace. Yo, y'all gotta subscribe. Hit the share button.